Just when you think you know the setup, we change the positions. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in a long time, we're bringing back 5 matches not to miss. This is a Kevin Hawk original, and we are paying tribute to the latest legend to unfortunately leave this earth far too soon, Mr. Roddy Piper. 5 of the best matches we could find of Roddy Piper. And Mr. Kevin Hawk has that list. Kevin Hawk, kick us off.
Well, we're going to start way back in the day before either of us were even born.
Ooh, that's a long ways away.
This is from Portland Wrestling,
Right here.
the place where Piper honed his craft for many years. And this is a lumberjack match against Buddy Rose for the Pacific Coast Championship, or Pacific Championship?
Pacific Coast Championship.
Pacific Coast Championship.
Yeah. Portland Wrestling, the mainstay promotion that was here for the longest time, had all the legends come through. You had Hogan, Piper, Snuka, just
Everyone. Rocky Johnson came through here.
Flair, I think, for a little while.
Flair, Kurt Hennig.
Yeah. Tons of people
Andre
came
the
through
Giant
Portland Wrestling.
came through here.
The Pacific Northwest is a big place for professional wrestling. And it just happened to be home to Mr. Roddy Piper as well.
Yeah. So this match was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was the first time in a long time. Granted, this is before, I guess it did kind of break down towards the end, but through the majority of the match, you actually had people doing what they're supposed to do in a Royal Rumble, rather than beating
a lumberjack match.
What did I say?
Royal Rumble.
Oh, my bad. A lumberjack match. Rather than what we see in most lumberjack matches where people are just beating up the person they don't like and then tossing them back in, it was literally just forcing that person to stay in the ring.
Yeah.
And at one point, Roddy Piper, Buddy Rose is keeps trying to kick him out of the ring, but there's guys shoving him back in. So he's like kick, stomp, roll out, push. He's stuck in this limbo where he's just constantly getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, no, it's kind of refreshing to watch in retrospect now, because I'd have to say probably 9 out of the last 10 lumberjack matches end in the chaos of disqualification because everybody bum rushes the ring and fights each other.
Exactly.
But to see a lumberjack match where the lumberjacks are doing what they're supposed to do, adds pretty cool chemistry to the match that I think is definitely missing nowadays.
Yeah, and it really allowed, Buddy Rose and Roddy Piper to tell their story. Each of them had a couple of guys that were specifically on their side. Yeah. And we saw that kind of break down towards the end of the match, which ultimately led to the finish. I don't know if we want to give away the finish.
No, because, like we do when one of the matches on our list is available via YouTube, the link will be down below in the description.
Yeah, and that's the one we know for sure. I'm pretty sure the rest of this list is all WWE Network, but
yeah, everything else you'll be able to see on the network, and I'm sure some of them will be on YouTube as well.
Yeah, WWE does post full-length matches, so you might be able to find some of these matches. What's our next one?
All right, we're gonna move ahead a couple years to 1983. Still before I was born. Still before you were born.
It's getting closer.
Getting closer to when we existed. But this is Starcade, an NWA event. One of the first ones, if not maybe the first one.
Starcade, yeah, it's
somewhere in the area of the original Starcades. So this was a big deal. I mean, this was the mega event that came before Wrestlemania.
Yeah.
And this is a United States. Well, no, the United States Championship isn't on the line.
No, that was I think a rematch from this match. Or something.
But it's the United States champion of the NWA, Greg Valentine, against Roddy Piper in a dog collar match.
Yeah, this one starts off probably in the most painful way possible. You're trying to hold back a dude with your neck.
Yeah, they did like a tug of war style start to the match, and I'm gonna go out and say definitely that this is probably the most violent match on the list.
Yeah. The last one is probably the closest we come to a second, but I think this one definitely tops that.
Yeah, I mean, you get
these two beat the crap out of each
part
other.
way in, Piper splits Valentine open in the forehead. A little bit later than that, Greg Valentine grabs a length of chain about yay big and holds it really tight and jabs it into Piper's ear, cutting his ear open.
Yeah, and it's a bloody mess from that point on. It's just, I mean, and we were talking a lot about it. You know, Roddy Piper attributes this match to a lot of his neck issues.
Yeah.
And not only that, but you know, they didn't really take into consideration how much chain they had.
Yeah.
And they're using it a lot for, you know, they'd wrap around their fist and throw a punch, but there's another like 2 feet of chain that's swinging after that and hitting them constantly. I mean, you can only imagine what kind of pain they were in after a match like this.
Yeah, definitely a lot of bruises and scrapes and scratches had to have come from this match.
Yeah.
Piper had a really good ingenuity of chain use. He had Valentine in the corner, and he had wrapped the chain around the post, and he held on to it so Greg Valentine couldn't step out of the corner.
Right.
And he held on, and he could just punch and chop Greg Valentine in the corner until he deemed he was bored of it.
Yeah, and they both used the wrapping the chain around the head. Valentine had it around Roddy's eyes. Roddy wrapped it around the mouth and the head of Valentine and was just
squishing his mouth and nose.
Oh, it's just, I can only imagine how. Oh, that probably sucks so bad. That was a hefty chain too.
That's why Greg Valentine hated the Junkyard Dog so much.
The flashbacks.
He wore a dog collar. Okay.
Flashbacks. I get it. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's a whole different story.
That's another story. New segment. We should make up funny wrestling things.
Funny things in wrestling.
Too hot for TV.
The rundown edition.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, overall, I mean, you can't take anything away from either of these guys. They hauled off on each other
a lot
and didn't let up, and they went a good 15, 20 minutes probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a long match.
Yeah, and constantly, getting hit with the chain, getting whipped. Piper was doing a lot of whipping with the chain, hitting Greg on the arm, hitting him in the back of the leg.
Yeah,
couldn't have been fun. Couldn't have been fun.
I can't imagine.
At all.
No.
Now, the next two sort of coincide with each other.
You get a package deal.
Sort of
kind of
following one story. The first one of these two is going to be from the Royal Rumble 1992, and it's an Intercontinental Championship match between Roddy Piper and the Mountie.
Yeah, this is probably the shortest match on the list.
Yeah.
This one lasts 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah,
possibly.
The Mountie had just won the Intercontinental Championship from Bret Hart I don't even think a whole week prior to this.
I think it was like 5 or 6 days.
At a house show.
Right.
And then defended it the Rumble against Roddy Piper. And this match was fun just because it was sort of very typical Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
Throwing the kilt in the guy's face before hitting him, eye poke. The blatant bending of the rules, and everybody loved it.
Yeah.
Because everybody wanted to see the Mountie get his ass kicked.
Yeah, nobody liked the Mountie. The Mountie was never a popular guy, so any chance that people got to see him get his ass whooped, especially at the hands of Roddy Piper, was always accepted.
Yeah, Roddy Piper, big fan favorite going into this match. And a lot of people really behind Roddy Piper because he had never won a championship in WWE before
Yes.
this point.
Yeah, and it blows my mind that, just with how iconic he is, the lack of championships that he won in, like, the major promotions.
Yeah. I mean, and you can say that for a lot of people, though.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's sort of that mentality, the championship guy is the moneymaker. He's the big draw, but the Intercontinental Championship guy is the guy who makes the show run.
Right.
It's said about a lot of people, like Jake the Snake Roberts, never won a major championship.
Yep.
Mr. Perfect was Intercontinental Championship, never got the World Championship. So many people can fall under that category. But Roddy Piper here, and this is a spoiler alert because it does go right over the next match. Roddy Piper does win this one despite interference from the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. And the Mountie even gets a shot from his cattle prod for good measure.
I wanted to bring up something that you had me notice while we were watching it, is that the realization on Roddy's face when Howard Finkel says, "Your winner and new Intercontinental Champion," like, Roddy is just so focused on the wrestling that he gets the biggest, cheesiest grin when he is announced as the new Intercontinental Champion. And it just makes you feel good. Like,
yeah,
Roddy Piper was always such a humble guy, other than his character himself. He wasn't one to talk himself over. So I can only imagine this was such a cool moment for him, and you could see how much he was enjoying it as soon as that announcement was made.
Yeah, absolutely. And this leads into match number 4 on the list, only a couple months down the road at WrestleMania 8. Roddy Piper defending the Intercontinental Championship against Bret Hitman Hart.
This was a match that I was not aware had happened, and me being a very big fan of the Intercontinental title and of Roddy Piper, and in some aspects of Bret Hart, this was a very fun match to watch, especially with the fact that it was built up face versus face. No dominant heel in this match, but you had both guys use heel tactics to try and get an advantage over on the other.
Yeah, Piper gave Bret a cheap shot. Bret feigned an injury to try and get a roll up on Piper. They had that mentality of, yeah, sure, we're both good guys, but we're still going to do anything it takes to win the match.
Yeah.
This is definitely one of the most technical matches I've seen Roddy Piper in.
Yeah, it's not. He's known for his just off the wall brawl, just punch. He's a boxer.
Yeah.
He likes to throw punches. He likes the dirty tactics, but he was very technical in this match, and you kind of have to when you go against Bret Hart, though.
Yeah,
you're kind of forced to work that style.
Piper did have definitely had a lot of offense in this match. They did the suicide crossbody spot. The crossbody over the top rope to the outside.
Great commentary, Bobby Heenan.
Yeah, Bobby Heenan kind of saved that spot.
Saving that spot, very well done. I appreciated that a lot.
And Bret Hart bleeding like a stuck pig.
Oh yeah.
By the end of the match.
Yeah, that was another story that you told me that I think is just unbelievable.
That'll be for a Bret Hart edition.
Yeah.
One of these days.
Yeah.
But it's a really good match.
Very good match.
Very unique finish. Really
Definitely.
well done finish for who's in it.
Yeah. No spoilers on that one.
Yeah.
It's the only one. The last one's the only one you get a spoiler on.
Yeah. And super fun.
Yeah.
It's definitely probably my favorite Roddy Piper match of all time. And it's in my list of probably top 10 favorite WrestleMania matches.
Nice.
And then the last one is going to move ahead 4 more years to WrestleMania 12, and we're going to do the Hollywood Backlot Brawl between Roddy Piper and Goldust.
This was a match that when you and I first started hanging out, you showed me very early on, because I was not nearly as well versed in wrestling as you were, and we watched a bunch of old WrestleManias and old SummerSlams and stuff like that, and this was one of the first matches from, I mean, other than WrestleMania 15 and 16, that I had watched. I didn't know a lot of the WrestleManias before 15. So going back to this, it was fun to watch Roddy Piper. This is very early Goldust. This is both of these characters work really well against each other, because you got the creepy, like, you don't know what he's gonna do kind of guy, but then you have the unpredictable, just like really funny Roddy Piper. But then you have this match, and this match is just chaos.
Yeah, I mean,
complete and utter chaos.
They're not even in an arena. They're like miles away.
Yeah.
In downtown Los Angeles, basically.
Yeah.
And they legitimately fight in a back alley, like between buildings. The match starts with Goldust pulling his gold Cadillac into the thing. Piper drenches him with a fire hose.
Piper busts his knuckle on Goldust's face.
Head. Yeah, and I think he busts Goldust on the head a little bit because they had a baseball bat.
Oh, that's right.
There's one shot you can hear where he like clocks Goldust with the baseball bat.
Yeah, Roddy's actually waiting with the baseball bat as Goldust pulls up in the Cadillac.
Yeah, I love the bit where Piper's hanging onto the hood while Goldust is trying to drive away.
Yeah.
And then
you get the long, drawn out, like, hey, I recognize this footage thing.
Piper getting in his truck and chasing Goldust down.
Yeah, that white Bronco.
They're being very topical at the time.
Yes, they are. Well done, WWE. WWF. Done.
Yeah. I want to know whose idea that was, because it's clever.
It was Vince.
Probably. I don't know.
Well, maybe.
Could have been Piper's.
It could have been. It could have been Piper's.
But yeah, and the match finally does pick back up. I think 3 or 4 matches later in the card, they make it back to the arena.
Yeah, it's like right after a match, right after a tag team match, I think. They end up at the arena, and then they fight out to the ring, and
the match concludes, and it's kind of good fun had by all.
Yeah.
In that one, a goofy ending to that match. But not...
Goofy might be an understatement.
But, I mean, you'd kind of expect it knowing that Goldust is one of the people in the match.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, we watched through a lot of Roddy Piper matches.
There are a lot of definitely other contenders that could have made this list.
Yeah, lots of good ones with Flair.
A lot of matches with Flair, some in Madison Square Garden during Flair's WWE original run.
A couple of his return matches.
Yeah, WCW, Ric Flair matches. He had a 3-match rivalry, pay-per-view matches with Hogan. A lot of versus the NWO kind of stuff.
His couple returns to WWE.
Yeah, winning the tag team championships with Ric Flair.
And then teaming up with Snuka and Steamboat to face Jericho at WrestleMania 25.
Yeah. And then,
there's Roddy Piper has been in so many different things that has really spawned a lot in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
He is an original in so many ways, and we're not likely to have another Roddy Piper.
No, not really. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people thought at one time that the closest we'd ever get to another Roddy Piper was going to be Brian Pillman.
Mm-hmm.
Because Brian Pillman had that sort of off-the-wall, wacky mentality about him.
I think if you were to say like with the current crop of guys that we see on a regular basis, I think maybe the closest thing we get to a Roddy Piper is a Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. In the last maybe 5 to 10 years, CM Punk
Definitely.
is, the closest thing I can say to this generation having a Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
A guy who's basically tells it how it is, doesn't really care whether you like him or not. He's just going to do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Kind of guy. And, it makes sense because Punk cites Piper as one of his biggest influences.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you watch the beginning of his DVD, and that's exactly what he says: is, oh, well, Roddy Piper isn't the biggest guy in a fight. I'm not the biggest guy. Roddy Piper just likes to yell and piss people off. I like to piss people off. Holy crap, I'm Roddy Piper.
Yeah, I mean, Punk tweeted it when Piper passed away. Was, there wouldn't be no Punk without Piper.
Yeah.
So, to me it just makes sense. There's a lot of parallels.
For sure.
On the off chance someone does come around that matches the ferocity and intensity in the ring and on the mic as Piper, yet maintaining the reputation of being such a down-to-earth, fun-loving guy backstage and in life, then it'd be something just, amazing to see.
Yeah. And it would be beneficial to the locker room as well.
Yeah.
Just to have that resurgence of life and character and, just overall great personality to have within the group.
You know who I'm seeing now in my head that I'm thinking about it that reminds me a lot of heel Roddy Piper, just in the way he's very brash, very arrogant, likes to talk a lot, likes to talk loud. Xavier Woods.
Yeah, I can see that.
His role is kind of the outside guy for the New Day most of the time. But, he's very brash, very cocky, but isn't afraid to back it up in the ring.
And, if you watch Xavier Woods' Up, Up, Down, Down channel where he plays video games with other superstars and his friends and does things, he is the host of the show, and he's a very eloquent speaker.
Yeah.
He can speak very clearly, and he's really funny. He definitely has a close parallel to a Roddy Piper type of.
Yeah, you can draw a lot of lines between similarities between these guys.
Yeah, for sure.
It works. Yeah. So, there is definitely always going to be the spirit of Roddy Piper there.
Oh, absolutely.
In WWE. It just shows. Because he influenced so many people to get into the business, or people getting into the business that would meet him, or, maybe didn't see him when they started wrestling, but, got to know who he was, or saw what he did while they were learning to wrestle, or, while they were in developmental, or whatever, what be it, it's hard to not want to draw that energy.
Yeah.
So, there you have it, folks. It's a good addition to the top 5.
Good way to bring it back.
Yeah, the Lumberjack match, you got the Dog Collar match, the Intercontinental Championship match at Royal Rumble, him versus Bret Hart at Mania, and the Hollywood Backlot Brawl at WrestleMania 12.
All very different sides of Piper. A very eclectic group of opponents, and just an overall really good way to remember Roddy Piper and all the different things that he was able to do in wrestling, the different things he was able to inspire people to do. And
we're going to put links in the description to the matches we can find.
yes.
Perhaps even if we can't find a match, then maybe if we can find an interview of Piper talking about the match.
Maybe a Piper's Pit
or
before.
Something leading up to the match,
Yeah.
or or if there's an interview of Piper talking about the match later in his career, sort of thing, a retrospective sort of thing. Something, we're going to try and get something attached to each of the matches via links in the description.
And if we don't, subscribe to the network and you can see 4 out of 5 of the matches.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 of them are on the network for sure.
Or buy a Wrestlemania box set and you get 3 of them. 2 of them.
2.
Buy the Royal Rumble ones too.
We get one more. Get the Best of Starcade on DVD.
Is that one on there?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. There you go.
And then you can have them all. But no, well, why spend all that money if you could just $9.99 and do that? Or, some of them will be in the description, I would believe.
Yes.
Hopefully.
As many as we can find.
Yeah, and other cool stuff. Also, in the description, there's other links, not just to these matches on YouTube.
We got our links.
The links to us
We got
in
the
other forms of
Facebooks,
social media.
the Facebook, the Twitter, the Tumblr, the Instagram, the Reddit. Both the emails are down there. You can talk to all of us at fanstalkwrestling@gmail.com. You can find him at Kevin_Hawk636@hotmail.com.
That's like my name with an underscore instead of a space.
And a number.
Yeah, 636.
Why 636?
That's a story for another day.
All right.
A long, drawn-out story.
Be sure to check out the playlist. We got the Raw review with the midweek wrap-up with the season finale of Lucha Underground. We got a SmackDown rundown that's and we're going to have an Indie News coming out pretty soon.
Yeah,
so,
the Indie News should be dropping about 24 hours post of this one.
Yeah, where we'll have a full retrospect of who's in King of Trios this year.
The full King of Trios lineup. More matches for a lot of other shows. Even the first few matches for Pro Wrestling Guerrilla's Battle of Los Angeles.
And results from this week's Ring of Honor TV.
So we'll see you there. And also, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Check you later, homies.
Thank you, Roddy. Bye.